In this Halo Wars 2 Pavium multiplayer match, I got myself a Scarab in under 10 minutes. I was on one base, and we're going to go ahead and see how that ended up happening. And when you're playing as Pavium, maybe you can go ahead and try and get a Scarab out on purpose instead of by accident like what I did, and use this build order to help yourself out. So the way the build order is starting off, I start off with a supply, do not upgrade it, then I'm going to get a generator, and then I'm going to go ahead and start upgrading that. Then after that, I'll make another supply pad, won't upgrade that one either, and then once I get enough power, supply, make that second gen, and then from then on out, you can go ahead and do whatever you would like. And I usually go war console right now with this build order, just testing things out to see how that turns out, and I'm really liking it so far. So let's see how this Scarab ends up coming to be, and is this Scarab even going to be a game changer, right? Yes, it's an early Scarab, but is it going to be enough to actually change the tide of war if that situation is happening? And speaking of which, Orange is trying to take the power with this Marine right away, and so we're going to go ahead and stop that from happening with our grunts and get rid of the remainder Marine that's out and about trying to be a little rascal that he is. War console is being made, and it does look like they take out the remainder of my supplies, but we are able to get rid of one Marine, and we're looking on our way to getting rid of a second one as well. So things are looking relatively well. We got rid of 2 Marines at the beginning of this game, and we still have another grunt getting additional supply, and looks like our war console will be out right on time for us to be able to get ourselves our leader when that time comes, but we don't really have the resources just yet, and now we do. And so with our grunts, we're going to see if we can take the power ourselves over here, but it turns out we cannot. So we're going to go ahead and just retreat just a little bit to start working on our power node. And so heroes coming out, burnout is going to be used to focus strictly on the power, mainly because all I'm going to be doing from here on out is just producing grunts to support my hero to the best of their ability, of course. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and get the appropriate upgrades to my supply pads with that additional power, so we can try and get ourselves a second base if things deem to be so. And so we're going to have our grunts moving around. We're going to try to have one to go ahead and scout if possible. We're still looking to try and grab a second base. Our leader's out, and now we're going to work on the upgrade for Pavium to get that nice Y move going on. And now we're going to get 2 upgrades on burnout, so then we'll be able to use it on 4 building slots. And there we go, we have ourselves Orange really committing to trying to get the power node right away. And so I was looking to go ahead and try and engage that, but I had to back up my grunts, and I did end up losing one in the process, but it was incredibly weak. So we're going to try and rendezvous at that power node to go ahead and damage the enemy. There's that self-destruct on the war console to make that supply depot. And now here we go, we're going to go ahead and try and push this power node, and all of a sudden Orange has shown up with a bunch of Marines. Orange is playing as Cutter, by the way, and so we got ourselves a good Y move coming down on the Spartan, but then a Spartan slam comes down on my Pavium, and now my Pavium's getting surrounded, and hologram ended up getting popped as well, so things aren't really looking too hot. We tried putting our Pavium in the bunker, we kind of misclicked a little bit, got it back in there. Vortex Lightning comes down as well. And now we're going to start focusing down on the remainder of the Marines that are here and see if we can grab ourselves a second base as well. Well, Orange is rotating over, and I was able to recognize that from happening. So I'm not going to go ahead and grab that second base right away. I'm going to be a little bit more patient. And so Dark Blue has pinged on the map on Yellow's main base. That means something is happening. That usually means for me that someone has a barracks going on. And so now I'm going to start falling back to our base because I don't really know exactly where Yellow is. And Yellow hasn't shown up in the map at all. And there goes Orange showing up on our power node, but we're going to easily be able to push that back right away. And now we're on Tech 2. We're going to get ourselves our 3rd generator. Burnout's going to be ready. We're going to use it on 3 supply depots and a gen. And now we're going to start falling back to our base. We did make a turret just in case an enemy shows up. But we don't really know what's going to happen yet, so I'm going to send my grunt over to that left hand side to go ahead and see what's going to go ahead and happen. There we go, we got ourselves a big engagement that's going to end up happening over here. with a bunch of Marines and Hellbringers by yellow. Our turret's going to start that engagement. Y move's going to come down on the Marine, so it's going to do a little bit of AoE, area of effect damage going on. We got sniper reinforcements by blue. Pavium's going to start getting closer to see if it can go ahead and heal that auto extractor. And now we're just trying to hold this off, and it does look like it's going to be a relatively good hold. Banshees have shown up by our light blue Decimus as well. And so, even though we're 5 minutes into this game, red is playing as Isabel. We got ourselves orange playing as Cutter, if I'm not mistaken. And yellow, I don't remember who they were at the moment, but it'll get to me. Dark blue is playing as Johnson, and light blue is playing as Decimus. And yellow is taking a second base for me. And so now I'm stuck in this weird situation where it's like, I'm on one base, I'm floating a lot of supply, and I can't really do much with what I've got. So my plan is to go ahead and try and clear out this base with the reinforcements of the Decimus with the air. And there goes a ping by blue. A bunch of Warhogs are coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and get that shield generator up. These grunts are going to run for their life from the Hellbringer that just so happened to be right by that teleporter. And now we're going to start getting ourselves ready for this next phase. I do have Tech 3 point, but I'm not going to get Mega Turret because there's literally no point in getting that right now. So I'm going to hold off from what I'm going to use for Tech 3 point for now anyways. And we're just going to go ahead and keep trying to get rid of that main base, second base or third base by yellow technically. And we're not really able to because of the fact that the Banshees went away. And on top of that, those heals kept going down. And so from this point on, I recognized, hey, I'm floating a lot of supplies. I'm actually getting the Tech 3 upgrade. Let's go ahead and try and get ourselves a Scarab if possible. And so we're going to go ahead and use Burnout on those 3 gens to try and get the resources that we need for this Scarab. It's 7 minutes in, and a good hijack on the Spartan. Let's see if that Spartan's able to survive or not. But I'm in this situation where it's like, do I want to upgrade the supply? Nope. I want to get the power that I need so then I can go ahead and get this Scarab out. And so if you want to know how to get yourself a very early Scarab, you just stay on one base, get at least 3 gens, and don't go greedy with your power usage, and you're going to be able to get it. So there you go. 7:35 is when the Scarab is getting built, and it takes 2 minutes to build. I was looking to see what I was going to do with that supply pad, still undecided yet. I'm going to go ahead and unlock Rain of Fire just because of the fact that there are a lot of Warhogs here right now. We do have turrets, and we're going to go ahead and start upgrading that if possible. Canceled it right away so I can go ahead and drop down a Rain of Fire, which is actually going to do a lot of damage to the Warhogs and Wolverines that are there. We were able to take out a significant amount of units with what we used. Still undecided what to do with that supply pad at the moment. Our Scarab is in production, and we were able to get some upgrades for the turrets as well. And so we're going to cancel that upgrade because we need to start making additional units, and a foundry is going to go ahead and go down. A second base is going to go ahead and try and get established. And then I self-destructed to make an Apex, and this is me second guessing myself because I wanted to make an Apex to heal my Scarab, but then I realized, why would I go Apex if my teammate is already going mass air? Let's go ahead and get more units to support the Scarab, so we went back to using the foundry. And speaking of which, they were able to deny Dark Blue's base once again, which is quite unfortunate. And so I'm going to keep my Pavium on the high ground. I wanted to think about going near the bottom, but I decided not to. Looking at the minimap, they've already cleared out Light Blue's base, and seeing where those Warhogs are going, he's probably going to head to my second base. So I need to self-destruct that if possible. If not, I'm going to end up losing that base. And our Johnny is now going Colossus, Mantis, Nightingales with Scouts, hopefully. And so that is a very strong late game combo, so we're going to see how that turns out. Our second base is going to be built. Burnout is ready to be used, and we're going to use it on our Scarab. We're going to use it on the gens, and there we go. Definitely the correct option was to self-destruct that, but 9 minutes and 30 seconds in, we got ourselves a Scarab. And so now the question is, will the Scarab be able to do anything this game, or will it be completely useless? Will we lose it right away? We're going to find out. And so we're going to start sending our Scarab and the small little units that we have coming from our foundry straight over to the teleporter. We're going to keep the rates production, and now yellow has shown up with a bunch of infantry, and so this is a great opportunity for us to do a lot of damage. Vortex comes down, and with that Y move coming in from the Pavium as well, we're going to be able to destroy everything that's over there, taking very minimum damage. Here comes red showing up with some warthogs and some wolverines once again. This time they're not upgraded to Gosh just yet. I'm gonna start heading over, but then I decided, wait, it's gonna take too long for me to head over here. Let me go ahead and take this engagement with orange, and so that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to get vehicle upgrades as well because we're still hurting in the supply department. We're going to get our upgrades for our turret, and now we're going to get ready to take the teleporter. So all our units are coming into the teleporter right now. They're very distracted with red at the moment, and so now it's all about trying to kill units and just do as much damage as possible. Restoration drone comes down on the turret, which I don't think that's a good move for them in my opinion. Our Scarab is going to start focusing down on the infantry, and I'm going to start telling it to specifically start focusing down on building slots, because I believe that does help towards the XP for the Scarab as long as it's not moving and destroying units. We are going to get upgrades for fortification because I do want myself a second base at some point, and we're going to keep our Scarab in a space where it's going to be able to do something in general. And a good Mac Blast by Isabel on the Decimus, and so Rain of Fire is ready. We were thinking about using it. And then speaking of which, a Mac Blast comes down, and so a good Rain of Fire is going to come down as well. The Scarab is in attack move position, so now it's just going to go ahead and try and prioritize whatever attacks it deems is important. Turns out yellow is Cutter, and yellow's going down with an ODST drop. And so now we have a lot of damage going on this side. Pavium has now shown up in the middle of the map. The Scarab is doing excellent job killing some units over here. Great Y move by Pavium to get that AoE damage as a whole. And so right now we are cooking incredibly well right now. Second base is now being established. Scarab is still doing magnificent damage, trying to get rid of as much as it can. Getting rid of a Spartan as well. We now have a Pavium that's level 1. Our Scarab is about half health, and so we still have to be careful in that regards, but our reinforcements are coming in with the Wraiths and the Reavers, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop this. And so orange is kind of trying to get a larger army set up before they go ahead for the push, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do much. And so we were able to take out the units, but then Isabel used her ult to get rid of, or not rid of, take control of the enemy mech that Johnson has. So I'm just trying to go for a full-scale retreat, pop the Y move for the Scarab so we can go ahead and retreat. And now we're getting fortification upgrades, we're getting vehicle upgrades, and now we're on this left-hand side of the map. Dark Blue gets control of his army once again, which is going to be very nice. And now we're going to start working towards the next phase. So Lynch on Vanguard is coming in. Was going to go ahead and get reinforcements upgrade, but I canceled that so I can go ahead and drop in my Vanguard to start this counterplay, because the Banshees have shown up, which is really nice. But then all of a sudden Siege has shown up, and this shows that orange is actually Anders. And so Decimus Banshee is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage right now until they start targeting down this siege that's going on over there. I am making some Reavers coming from that ability. The Scarab is here, and we're going to go ahead and focus down on the base right away. Fortunately, they do not have fortification, so that base is going down because of the Vanguard and the Scarab. Even if the heal is coming down, it's not going to be good enough. But our Scarab is hurting now. It is incredibly red. The shield gets popped for the Scarab, and it's going to keep trying to fall back. Pavium's going to go and try and provide cover, but the Decimus Banshees did a great job providing cover as a whole, so we're going to be able to fall back. But now we have to be worried about the counterattack that's going to be coming in on us. And so now we got to try and posture up a good defensive position, and the Scarab is going to start falling back. It's taking a lot of damage right now. We're going to try and put it in the high ground while everybody else tries to fight at the bottom. Speaking of which, a great Y move by Pavium's going right on the Spartan of red. A Vortex Lightning is coming down, and the ult of Anders is coming in for her super unit that is coming. And so now engineers are being made to go ahead and heal, and we're going to have to try and hold this off, but the rest of the Banshees end up being eliminated. The Scarab is going to be called to try and do some work, but then once those little sentinels showed up, that's our time to go ahead and run away. Pavium's still trying to hold out to the best of their ability. Orange is coming in to try and finish the job and focus down on my leader. But my leader ends up going into the bunker to try and stay safe while the Scarab tries to engage a small amount of units. Rain of Fire is going to be used right on my location and caught right when that ultimate was being used by Anders' leader. Hero or Uber unit, there it is. And so Scarab ends up taking out the units at the bottom, which really worked out, and Pavium barely got the hold, and now our Scarab is actually level 1, and great shot by that Pavium getting out that Wolverine. And so now we're going to start getting some heals. We have a level 1 Scarab, we have a level 1 Pavium, and it's looking really good right now. We reset Yellow's second base, we reset Orange's second base, and now we're going to try and find a way to deal some more pressure as a whole. I noticed in the map that Dark Blue is getting some good engagement on that side, so even though my Scarab is hurt pretty bad, I want to go ahead and send some additional reinforcements and see if we can go ahead and take out Yellow's base as a whole and get them down to just one base. And so the Scarab, we're going to once again try and position it in a way where we can go ahead and deal some good damage towards the enemy. The Cyclops are here. We're going to start focusing down on the buildings that are being made, and Johnson is already taking the preemptive steps to stay a little bit split just in case Isabel's ult comes in to take over vehicles. And now those engineers are going to start healing the Scarab. And so things are looking a lot better for us. We are going to keep on with our production, and just like that, an enemy ends up disconnecting from this game. And so this game is now starting to come towards a close. And so let's go ahead and fall back for a little bit. If you want to go ahead and make a Scarab before the 10-minute mark, it can be incredibly helpful to go ahead and do so. But there are some caveats. One, I kept my Scarab alive and didn't put myself in an overcommitment position. Speaking of which, Red has gone with the full Vulture combination over there with combat salvage, and so that's quite the late game strategy going on here. But Decimus is going to be matched up very well. But keeping that Scarab alive was very key, and not putting the Scarab in the front line, because that is my only unit that I had going on. It's very important key. Having 3 generators in general does help, right? We weren't able to get a lot of the power nodes in general, which is unfortunate. But the 1 base Scarab build order can be relatively good, and if you have yourself a good leader to hold out as well, that's going to work out pretty well in your favor. And so all in all, I thought this was a relatively good match, another good comeback as a whole. That's something that's been happening a lot lately. And so Red is going to try and stay in this game for a little bit longer while I go ahead and flank around to hit their main base. The Banshees are trying to go ahead and take out those Vultures. Hologram was being popped, but the resignation is going to come in at some point, even if the map comes down by Isabel. And with that, this game will be coming to a close. So there it is, we have our victory, and I hope that this under 10-minute Scarab was something worthwhile and something for you to go ahead and try out yourself as well. And so I was playing as Pavium. I went 15 units lost for 91 units destroyed, with a total power lead from everybody in this game. Apple Pie was playing as Johnson with 14 active leader powers used, which is the most in this game, with only 15 units lost and 43 units killed. Ginger Brian Man playing as Decimus with 53 units lost and 59 units destroyed. Then Analog Kevin playing as Isabel, who was red, killed it in the supply game, made the most units, but unfortunately only lost 82 units. Well, lost 82 units and unfortunately only killed 47. Fly Mithy playing as Cutter, 69 units lost, which is pretty nice, and 11 units destroyed. And finally, Turbulent Tick 54, 45 units lost, 21 units destroyed. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, feel free to leave a like, really appreciate it. If not, it's all good. I also have a game dev account. If you want to check that out, feel free to check the link down below. And with that being said, have yourself a good one and a splendid one. And until next time.